Suck.
Still special to be in a main event, or are you over that now? Is this just what you do?
This is I can't how do I say this? I can definitely get used to this. Definitely not over it, and it feels brand new.
That's awesome. Obviously, man, you've fought a lot of names, but Aldo, a legend, right? I mean, does this feel a little bit different even than facing a former champion or something like that, somebody of his caliber?
A little bit. I'll be lying if I didn't say it was. Main event. Another, obviously former champion, but it's a little different with the experience he has, how durable he is, and yeah, and I just the guy's been around forever. People are crazy to say if he's old. Like he's only 35 years old. Like he has a lot more wear and tear than I do, but he's right there. He's put together two back-to-back wins. He's beat obviously Pedro Munoz, a guy I've lost to. So it's like he's looking sharp. He's making the weight. I didn't think he was gonna make the weight when he first even said it. I remember he was struggling to make 45 for a few, and then yeah. So this is a dangerous fight. This is a tough fight, but this is the fight we need, we want, and we're excited for.
Is there any danger of getting a little bit starstruck? You know what I mean? Like I said, as a guy that I'm sure you were watching on the way up, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Is there any danger of getting in there and be like, oh my God, I'm in here
Yeah,
with Jose Aldo?
Yeah, when I first even got into MMA, it wasn't through the UFC, it was through the WEC. So I started watching guys like Faber, Cruz, Dominic Cerrone, and obviously Jose Aldo. So it was kind of like, but I've been here before, with my debut in George Roop. I was watching George Roop at the same time, and I felt it probably not the same caliber again, but or not the same caliber of a name, but it's. I used to watch that guy. He's probably the tallest guy I've ever seen. I felt that before, and I don't think it's going to be a big deal once I get in there with him. But yeah, no, this is it's exciting, man, because it's like one of those things. Like even when I saw the poster today, I'm like, oh man, all right, this is real,
It's awesome. Listen, you fought nothing but killers since you got into the UFC, but right now the run you're on is incredible. I mean, can you point to anything that like what clicked to just start, to get this run going?
Yeah, I think for me it was more of like just kind of not trying to make everything perfect and not worrying about, how do I say, like making everything perfect and not being afraid to look dumb out there. Like just go out there and just try things and figure it out. And once I kind of got that in me and like just really was like, nah, we're just going out there and we're just playing. We're not trying to force plays. We're just gonna go out there and play. Once I kind of really bought into that and just really did it, it was over. Like I just started having fun, started smiling, and we put four together.
It's awesome. How do you evaluate Aldo right now, right? I mean, no doubt his legendary status. Some people say he's kicking a little bit less these days. Maybe he's doing some different things. Where do you look at him? Is this guy as dangerous as anybody as you fought, or is he tailing off?
100%, man. 100%. I'm expecting a big right hands, big left hooks, and him coming right back to those low kicks, and mixing in some wrestling. I'm expecting that. Hopefully, he doesn't have to go off 5 rounds, and I get in there and get him out of there. But I'm expecting to go 5 rounds as well. I think this is going to be a fun fight, entertaining fight. But I will be looking for that finish the whole time.
I was going to say, I mean, obviously you guys are both well-rounded fighters, but I think a lot of us are excited because it looks like it might be fireworks on the feet. Is that the type of fight that you're expecting?
100%. 100%. I think guys, it's in his DNA. I don't think he doesn't know how not to put on an exciting fight. So. Yeah, man, I'm excited. This is exactly what we wanted. This is exactly like I said, we need, and I'm just blessed and grateful for this opportunity.
And we know this is a good fight. We know it's an exciting fight, but I don't think we know exactly what the stakes are, right? We know it's a big one.
Yeah.
But what do you think? I mean, are you looking at this as a potential #1 contender fight? Are you looking at this as, well, I get Dillashaw? I mean, what are you thinking?
There's some options. Obviously, we have the champ still out, and I guess there's rumors of that fight happening again. I think best case scenario, and I'm not wishing anything on him if Aljamain can't, or he's not healthy enough to fight. I think like we strip him of the belt. Me and Jan get in there and fight for the belt. Obviously, they fight. Hopefully a big finish or a win does enough for me to get the title shot after they fight. But, it's still TJ Dillashaw out there. So it's kind of like, all right, worst case scenario, we fighting TJ to get to the shot. and then it's still Corey Sandhagen, you know. So again, like there's so many options. I'm like, I'm not even thinking title right now. I got this killer in front of me, then I got two more killers in front of me, and then again, probably one of the best strikers out there is Corey Sandhagen, coming off of you know 2 losses, but he's still right there, you know. So I'm like, I'm not even worried about, you know, matching. I'm gonna let Tyson and obviously Sean do that. I just want to get in there, finish, you know, get finished with this fight, and then we'll talk from there.
That's awesome. Last thing for me, you laid out the scenarios perfect, right? I mean, but it's all like exciting options available. So because of that, do you feel like you got to go in here and make some kind of special statement, or is it just, you know, hey, I beat Aldo, that's all that matters?
Yeah, you know, beating Aldo's cool, but finishing Aldo's way better.
Yeah, I know you don't want to think too far ahead, but I have to say, if it worked out how you were just saying, to beat Moraes, Garbrandt, Aldo, Dillashaw before getting a title shot might be one of the craziest runs we've ever seen.
No, man, it's even hearing it, you're like, damn. Even if I beat him, when I do beat him, I still gotta potentially fight these guys. I'm like, yeah, all right, whatever, man, let's go.
Is that just a testament to how good this division is right now?
100%. And I think you know, the division stacked, exciting, and honestly, from the champion to the 15th guy, they're all killers. We're exciting. We all have power. We all bring, you know, that technical aspect to the game as well. And yeah, I think you know, 35 division is on fire right now.
Do you think Aldo, since moving down in weight, has kind of, after the first couple of outings, he's actually looked better the more he spent at bantamweight, right? It seems like he's starting to get into the division and get used to that weight cut. Would you agree?
Yeah, 100%. You know, he looked good in the first one. He fought Peter Yan the first one, right?
First one was Marlon.
Okay.
He lost. Then he got the title shot against
Okay,
Khabib.
so I actually thought I gave him that when I was watching. I think I gave him that fight. And then he looked good against Peter as well. And then he really put it together versus Cheeto and Munoz. So he's definitely looking better. He's making the weight. There's no issue with that. Yeah, again, this is another dangerous, tough fight.
Is he one of those guys? He's kind of like a fighter's fighter, right? I don't think, apart from, well, I'll get to that in a second, but there's not many people who want to say any bad things about Aldo, right? Because he's just been around forever. He's been a nice guy. He's been a good guy. Is he one of the people you can look at on your resume one day and think, man, I actually got to step in there and fight that guy?
Yeah, I do believe, you know, I can, you know, be proud of fighting a guy like Aldo because of how long he's been doing this, how much of a great guy he really is. You don't hear much about him, and yeah, it would be a privilege to fight a guy like that.
What did you make of Khabib's comments that you can't have two peaks as a fighter, and that Aldo's peak is behind him and he'll never get to that top tier level again? Did you hear those comments and did you make anything of them?
No, I didn't really make too much of it. Hopefully it's true, right? Like, so, hey, man, shout out to Khabib, but hopefully it is true. But it's not looking like it, you know. I watched that Munoz fight, and like, he looked pretty quick to me. So I'm like, that guy hasn't lost a step. But, you know, hopefully Khabib knows something I don't know. So,
and last thing for me is, you know, it's such a weird thing because in any other sort of scenario, I would imagine defeating Jose Aldo is a title shot, right? But because of the situation as the champion and the interim champion, and then TJ's reputation, is it kind of just frustrating to think that I can deliver the UFC one of the best wins of my career, probably the best win, and then I might actually be no closer to a title shot, really?
Yeah, I'm right back in that same position I was. I'm fighting the number 4 guy again, like Cody was number 4, you know, so I'm like still here, you know what I'm saying? Like, so, but I'm not mad, you know, it's, again, I'm getting the main events. I'm getting the opportunities. I'm getting the big names. This just sets me up for another big name.
Actually, one more thing. I feel like you've been one of the best guys in this division for ages, but kind of one of the most underrated and underappreciated.
Thank you.
Did you notice a difference after beating a name like Garbrandt, right? Because he's got a bit of star power. Did you notice a difference?
Yeah, 100%. You know, now I'm one of the top boxers. I'm like, well, I've been doing that the whole time. You know, like I'm like, all right, whatever. I've been jabbing everybody since I started, and even like as the UFC been putting like obviously like the highlights up, but like, wow, man, that guy's jab's crazy. I'm like, I've been doing that since the regional scene, but you know, it is what it is. You know, obviously you gotta, you know, I haven't been as active as I would have liked to, so that plays a role. And then, you know, then again, like you fighting a guy like Cody Garbrandt with that following, you know, like there's eyes on that. You know, I believe that guy like a couple million on Instagram or something. Like you know, same thing with Aldo. You know, these guys. they have big followings, big names. I'm trying to steal some of that shine.
I feel like the best boxer conversation is coming up every week now, and it's funny because most of them seem to be in your division.
Let's go.
But where do you give me the top 3 best boxers in the UFC right now?
Calvin Kattar, Rob Font. Oh, man, it's tough, man. It's tough.
Holloway is going to say, "Well, I beat Calvin, so I must be better."
Technically, yeah, on paper, right? And obviously you got to throw in Max as well, but yeah.
Cool. Thanks, mate.
Thank you.
Coming up that stressful time you had with the USADA issues and then catching COVID right away off of that. And then they call you up like, hey, man, you want to take this title shot on short notice? And you were just like, making a smart decision. How does it feel to finally make it to a fight week with such a big name like Jose Aldo, getting all that stuff behind you?
Yeah, so again, it sucked. I went from obviously beating Cody Garbrandt, going through that high, then getting a text from Jeff and Donna saying, hey, we need to talk. And you're like, well, what the fuck do we need to talk about? Like, we don't need to talk about anything. Like, and they're like, listen, you popped for chlorphenicin. I'm like, I don't even know what that is. Like, break it down. And then basically we had to go around and collect, or put together what I ate that week leading up to the fight, the fight week, and the products I was taking and all that, and ended up being all the cosmetic products I was taking, from the lotions to shampoo and even the sunscreen. So once we figured that out, it was all right. Now we got the proof. Now we just got to wait for the hearing. That happened. At the same time, we scheduled a vacation to go to Texas. So we got through the hearing, and then it was all right, cool. Where now we know that it's not going to be a year to 6 months. We know where we're at, and then we went out, had some fun in Texas, and then ended up catching COVID. And then so obviously we're quarantined for 2 weeks. Finally get done with that, then we get the call, hey, you want to go to Dubai to fight Peter for the belt? I'm like, oh, come on, man. I'm like, obviously we tried it out, played around with a couple sessions, just wasn't feeling right. It was. I think it was more of like I'm trying to figure out everything just to get to the fight instead of just focus on winning the fight. And it felt rushed. I think collectively as a team, everybody was like, listen, let's just say no to this. You've been in the house, watching Netflix for 2 weeks. Like, think about it. And it was just like, yeah, but. And it was like, finally we said no. And then, so it sucked for after that. After saying no, it sucked for like maybe 2 or 3 days. And then boom, we got the call. Jose Aldo. I was like, shit, that sounds even better. Like, let's go. Like, that's perfect. Main event in Vegas. I don't have to take that flight. Like, let's go. Perfect. It's not the belt, but it's just as good.